Hey everyone, welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. We are in the Labyrinth, heading to the Changing God, I guess. And we just, I don't know if we assisted the first or if we got back, past the first here, but let's see where this takes us next. That's interesting. We just get a title screen. Interesting. What do we have here? Okay. So we have platforms with interactables. This looks like the residence chamber. Makina. Why is Makina over there?
Of course.
Okay, so Makina's on the resonance chamber. And interesting. Okay. I wonder if Makina can interact with us. No, she can't. Okay, and then I guess we're getting over here to the deepest fathom. Okay, let's see.
Now.
Let's interact with this guy, I guess. The dominating image on this panel is a map of the room, 5 platforms in a circle around the central platform. It looks like controls to raise the floors, connecting the various platforms. Deep cracks radiate from the 3 different places, as though someone has smashed the panel in a hurried rage. The controls are unresponsive. And yet you feel something. The floors are like those in the Deep Fathom, where you first awoke after your fatal fall. The platforms as well as the control panel are metal constructs like everything else here. They should respond to your will if you just exert it. Let's focus your will on the control panel to activate it. The tides surround you, swirling throughout the entirety of this place. You exert your will, pushing power through the channels and into the control panel. Even as you watch, the glass reshapes itself, the cracks healing as though they were never there. With a hum and a chitter, the controls come to life. The platform you are standing on pulses with an orange glow, showing the floors in their current state. Touching the platform on the screen should shift the floors. Okay. A familiar voice echoes from the depths below. You're still here, then. I'd hoped the labyrinth would trap your mind as well, but apparently I made your body too well. You're too late, though. Even if you repair the entire fathom, I'm at the labyrinth's final defenses. By the time you reach me, I'll have broken through the door. Go ahead, solve your puzzles. It won't matter. In a little while, you'll be nothing more than a whiff of nostalgia in my mind. The voice fades to nothing. Wow, he sounds worried. So let's go up to this guy. I am not 100% sure why Makina is in a separate place. And we can't actually move her separate. It's weird.
Yes.
Okay, so let's
all right.
do this control panel. Connect this platform to the one on the left. Sure. Okay.
Yes.
How are we ever going to get to Makina here? Interact?
Let's go.
The map on this control panel is fully functional. The platform you are standing on pulses with an orange glow, showing the floors in the current state. Touching the platform on the screen should shift the floors. There's an extra image here that was not visible on the other panels. A human figure in a dotted outline. It flickers erratically as though there was something wrong with it. Let's do that. Pew. As you place your hand on it, something activates within the panel, not just this panel, but every panel in the room. The circular stations on every platform glow, and the image of the human figure begins to pulse regularly as though waiting for input. Connect this platform. Let's press the pulsing human figure. Tiny needles puncture your fingers. There's a flash from the central synth plate next to the panel, and a finger-long blade in its center starts spinning and humming around its axis. As it spins, it projects a three-dimensional image very similar to yourself. Your own body flickers in and out of phase. The blade spins faster, brighter. Your body's flickering accelerates until finally the blade dissolves, and standing on the platform is a fully grown human that looks remarkably like you. Okay. Hello. The figure before you looks almost exactly like you, but a woman instead of a man. She doesn't bear your scars, but otherwise her face is a mirror. Hello, you must be me. What happened to him? He did not treat her body all that well. Who are you? Well, I'm a short-lived version of you. Basically, our creator used these cloning stations to rapidly prototype different body types and features before deciding on a final shell for his consciousness. These look different from the controls I remember. It looks like I'm stuck on the most recent settings. Not that that's a bad thing, of course. I'm sure you won't mind. How long do you last? Only a few minutes, give or take. It's not so bad. It doesn't hurt. At least I don't remember hurting. If you're me, then why are you a woman? Our progenitor was funny like that. Gender for the next self was always a last-minute decision. Our creator was never content with one or even two genders. It was a fungible thing. He would constantly explore and experiment, even trying Vargellan, Gibra, and Direk bodies at different points. You know, even after centuries with our creator, I can't explain the fastidiousness about gender. It's just the way he is. The Vargellan was very interesting. I'm surprised he didn't choose that body more often. Do you know what this place is? I thought it was the cloning laboratory where the prototype bodies were tested, but this doesn't look right at all. Where's the floor? The walls? All the equipment is here, but it's a nightmare version of the laboratory, I know. As if someone described a lab to a visitant that didn't quite understand it all, and then the visitant tried to recreate it. I don't know. Okay. If you only live a short time, how do you know all this? Oh, that's the most important and interesting part. Our creator always liked to process things externally, to have someone to talk to, and constructed assistants all the time. I wasn't able to maintain my memories from version to version. That way I could provide more useful feedback on how one body moved or felt compared to another. Our progenitor would have me perform tasks from time to time, sometimes mundane, sometimes dangerous. The fact that I could learn from my mistakes was a great help. Okay, can you perform a task for me, like walk to that other station and toggle the floors? Sure, I can do that. Oh. Ching. Oh, splat. Well, that doesn't help me that much. I wish I could have Makina go and toggle that over there. But, okay. That's not gonna work, so let's
go.
Can I click this again? Let's connect this platform to the one on our left. Okay. Let's press the pulsing image of the human figure. Bring up another one of these. And I need you to toggle the floors of the other station again. Sure, why not? Will this work? Splat. That's really disturbing. Wait, what just happened? Tidal energy from the portal blasts the floors back into the depths. You're able to reconnect them to the platform across Fathom, but not to the exit. You'll have to find another way to reach it. Okay. So let's, not 100% sure how to do this, but let's... Okay, so let's connect to the left again. Let's move to the one to the left.
All right.
As it said. Okay. Let's get all the way on there. Don't just sit there.
Fine.
Let's try this. Connect this one to the far side of the Fathom. What did that do? That connected to that.
Ready.
Okay. Press the image of the human figure. Maybe this? Toggle the floors of the other station again? Sure, why not? Or maybe I need to do the one to the right. Maybe that's the way to do it. I'm gonna figure this out eventually. I don't like that. Okay. So we at least have Makina back now. And we can check out this resonance chamber. Oh, maybe it's just a stasis chamber. It's a stasis chamber of some sort. There are no controls on it anywhere, nothing that could help you raise the floors to reach the depths of the labyrinth. A woman lies inside, clearly visible from the shimmering energy field, and looking as though she were asleep. Her features are exactly those of the ghostly woman who you met inside the calm. Something disturbs the air next to you. The ghostly woman's face begins to appear, as though your thoughts summoned her. Ghostly woman, you did summon me. I can discern your memories more clearly than the others, even more clearly than my own. But I remember now, this is who I was, the daughter of the changing god. It was long ago, after the Tabat laid siege to Sage's Cliffs. My father fought them off, and I was among the survivors, but I didn't exactly survive. One of the Tabat's weapons made me sick somehow, in my mind. He discovered how to transfer consciousness, my consciousness, into a new body, hoping it would save me, but it didn't. My sickness followed me in my mind, so my father put me in there. He tried to find a cure for me, and when that failed, he tried to bring me back from death itself. He thought I was unconscious in there, but I remember. The memories are fragmented, but they're there. I was aware of everything, and with so many new memories flooding my mind, I'm able to fill in the gaps I didn't know. Does this mean you're a Castoff? I don't think so. I had my own consciousness like my father does. This is who I was. Now I'm probably just a memory stored forever in the labyrinth. How often has he tried to bring you back? Considering he had centuries to do it, not very often. A lot at first, then. Only when he remembered or had some new idea. He used the probability engines underneath Sage's Cliff to birth women with my personality. He tried to use Heaven's Rejoinder, his means for turning back defeats in the endless battle. Once he tried to kidnap a version of me from an alternate reality, but she died in a tragic accident. He never tried that again. What am I to you, Father? Did you just give up? Okay, so we kept meeting women who looked like her or who seemed similar to her, and this is probably why. He kept trying to bring her back, and they kept just messing up people's lives. How much do you remember from being in that tank? I can't tell you time measurements. I only know I was in the tank until the sorrow attacked us. My father fled, saving himself. She laughs once, but there's no humor in it. Maybe he figured he could only bring me back. Maybe he figured he could bring me back even without a body. It's the kind of thing he would assume. Maybe he didn't care. Does this mean this fathom is constructed from your memories? I don't recognize... No, wait, yes. It's all twisted and disordered, like in a nightmare, but yes, I think these are my memories. I need to get to that portal. Can you build me a path?
I'm ready to pick my path.
Yes, I can. Poof. Oh, wow, she can build all the paths. Go, stop him. He's harmed more lives than anyone can count. If you have the power to heal the flourish, would you have the power to heal me as well? While you're in this place, yes, I think I might. You feel nothing more than a tingle as she places her hand on your shoulder, then an immense weight of tranquility fills your body and mind.
That feels better.
Ooh, nice. So, it makes it sound like when he started, maybe he was trying to heal his daughter, and then he got like kind of caught up and everything, and I don't know. It almost seems like the changing god started with good intentions and ended up still just becoming a selfish bastard and ending up ruining tons and tons of lives in order to... I don't even know. I don't know if he even knows what he's trying to do anymore. The right to exist. Quest updated. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? We have 3 doors.
Yes.
Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of the door. Someone made a great effort to get inside, but to no avail. As you approach, however, the bars of the door shudder and bend. It wants to let you in. This is the area where we started the whole game. Place your hand on the surface and will it to open. The door doesn't open at your touch. Instead, you are drawn into the door itself. Oh, it's like a mirror caster. You're in a glass dome several kilometers above the ground. Blue sky fills your vision. Beneath you is the floor of golden metal. A deafening klaxon blares in warning against something. A familiar-looking stasis chamber lies in the center of the dome. A chest fashioned from synth and cold iron sits to one side. Behind the pod, a diamond hovers in the air, scattering prismatic light. A pedestal glows near your hand, a deep azure blue. There's nothing that seems to warrant the blaring klaxons, yet you know the alarm sounds for a reason. Let's look at the chest, or the chamber. It's the ghostly woman's stasis chamber, the real one from which the labyrinth constructions were made. The changing god's daughter lies inside. Her skin is pale and there are dark circles around her eyes. Her chest rises and falls as though she were sleeping soundly. This laboratory, this body, must belong to the changing god. Investigate the diamond. As soon as you approach the diamond, the top of it blooms open. An illusory globe appears within. Words and images speed across its surface. Welcome back. Please state your query. Alarm. There are no matching entries. Please restate your query. Daughter. There are no matching entries. Please restate your query. Escape. Previews of several entries flit through your mind. There are scores of results, and you can't figure out how they're organized, nor how to quickly ascertain whether an entry will be useful to you or not. It takes some time to sift through them for something useful. You will have to be careful what you spend your time researching. Finally, find one that's what you're looking for. A male voice, the voice of the body you're wearing, speaks in your mind. I won't take any risks with this new body. I've initiated a fail-safe procedure to transport me away should something happen to me or the laboratory. If any unforeseen danger presents itself, I should be able to escape to a backup location. Okay, let us open the synth chest. The chest is locked with a keypad bearing 17 strange symbols. You're about to lose hope when you realize you know which symbols to press to unlock the chest. You enter the correct code before the memory can slip away. The chest opens with a soft click. The only items of note inside are a wooden shaft with a multicolored crystal tied to one end, and a large hemisphere made of azure steel. Well, let's examine the rod. It's a domination rod. Let's take it. Steel dome. It's heavy, too heavy to lift by yourself. Okay, touch the pulsing light on the pedestal. Pedestal dims and a man appears in front of you. Wait, and a man appears in front of you? He's not all there. You can see the clouds and vista on the other side of him. He looks worried. We have a problem. It's here. What's here? Why are the alarms going off? The sorrow is here. It found us somehow, and it's trying to break into the lab. We need to get you out of here. What are you? Now's not really the time to get into this again. I'm an intelligence put in charge of the laboratory, and either created from or overlaid with your personality and knowledge. As your advisor, I refuse to argue about the nature of my existence until we're safely out of this mess. Okay, why is the sorrow here? I couldn't tell you what it wants. Maybe there's something in your archives. You told me we woke it up somehow when we did that first consciousness transfer. Can you make the alarm stop? Sure, just don't forget that the reason for the alarm is still on the way. Tell me about the girl in the chamber. You mean Mika? She's no better than she was before. Worse, actually. I hate to say this, but I don't think we can save her. Tell me, how close is the sorrow? It's inside the tower. If it gets past the electrostatic barrier, then all we've got is the plasma window below the hatch to hold it at bay. Okay, so what is it that we're trying to do here? Let's go back to the archival diamond. Advisor saw Mika. Mika's condition is not improved after the consciousness transfer. If anything, it is worsened. I've traced the cause to the weapon I retrieved from the Tabat after the failed siege of the Sage's Cliffs, but damned if I know how to undo its effects. I don't understand. I should be able to figure this out. I will figure it out. I just need more data. I've discovered the theoretical process to merge my consciousness with hers, but I just need more data. With luck, I can run experiments in the next few days. Let's go back to merge consciousness. There's only a single entry for that query, the same entry from when you queried the word Mika. The entry said it would try again in a few days, but that entry is dated several months ago. If he did try it, he never entered anything about the archives. Maybe the spectral advisor knows more about it. What happened when I tried to merge my consciousness with Mika's? You don't remember? I guess that's why you made me. You never tried to merge your consciousness with hers. After researching it for a while, we discovered that doing so would snuff out your personality. You weren't content with me being the only one of us left, so we rejected that option and kept searching for another way. I want to do it. Let's merge my consciousness with hers.
I'll remember that.
I'm afraid we can't. You rejected it before we could implement any kind of experiment. We need some sort of psychic substrate for your consciousness and hers to reside in simultaneously. Then we need a catalyst of some kind to create the resonance that would merge you with her. It's certainly possible given time and the sorrows at our doorstep. Okay. Look at the chamber again. Look at the archival diamond. I'm not 100% sure what we're trying to do here. The consciousness transfer was a success. I transferred Mika to a new body first, a clone of her original. There appeared to be no ill side effects after several days, so I performed the procedure on myself. I'll be watching both of us carefully over the next few weeks, but thus far I'm very hopeful. I'm sure there will be unforeseeable long-term effects, but for the moment it seems that I have found a way to stave off death itself. Cannot imagine any long-term effects that could outweigh that benefit. It shattered the electrostatic shield. It breaks through the plasma window. We're done for. What's your plan? We've got a plan, right? Let's go to the synth chest. Let's activate... No, we can't activate it, can we? Examine the steel dome. It's probably a wall projector of some kind, but you can't see any way to activate it. Let's see. Wall projector. The panel was not easy to find. There are no visible seams anywhere, but it's easy to open once you know how. As soon as I found it, I had the trans-dimensional wall projector moved to a new laboratory. I don't know what exactly destroyed the old location, but I know it was trans-dimensional in nature. The projector should create a barrier large enough to surround the entire dome, in case whatever it was comes hunting again. So let's do that again. So let's go to the synth chest. Activate wall projector. Okay. Should buy us a little bit more time. And let's look at Siege of Sage's Cliffs. Today marks the 28th anniversary of the Siege of Sage's Cliffs. 28 years since her illness began. It was a simple thing to defeat them, to unmoor the city from the presence and strip those trapped inside of their Numenera. It has not proven so simple to undo the effects their terror unleashed on us. I still don't know how the ceramine crystal works, nor what it does to the victims. I doubt they knew either, but they were pillagers, not priests. They only knew it was a weapon. I wonder if they knew the extent of its power, how it could destroy the life of a young woman and her father, even chasing them across lives. Ceramine crystal. A command word. I should have known, though I cannot fathom how the Tabat figured it out. It must have had something to do with that underspine of theirs. One only needs to touch the crystal to its target and speak the word Kadishtu. Then the crystal's powers will be unleashed. I brought the crystal into the new laboratory to examine it further. Let's see. Let's talk to the Spectral Man again. Nope. Let's keep reading the archives. What's this domination rod? There are no matching entries. The sorrow. I don't know what the sorrow is exactly, just that it's old, really old, and it doesn't pay much attention to the established laws of space-time. I wonder just how established those laws really are. Anyway, I first came across a mention of it in my research of the tides. It appears to have been some kind of guardian against tidal abuse. Evidence suggests that it may have been solely responsible for the destruction of one of the prior worlds. My experiments with consciousness transfer appear to have woken it. I don't believe it's after me specifically, but I have come to believe it was responsible for the destruction of my previous laboratory. Advisor, there are no matching entries. Changing God, the tides. The tides have proven to be an extremely fruitful path of exploration. The Tabat don't realize what they've unearthed. They saw these trinkets as just more Numenera, but these forces may have the power to turn back death itself. I certainly hope so for her sake. Oh, there's a hiss and a screech beneath the door. Suddenly a metal hatch flies off its hinges, cracking the strong glass ceiling, then smashing through the glowing pedestal. Spectral man's image disappears. A foul black cloud rises from the hatch, and the air is filled with an unearthly wail and stench of rotting flesh. Tendrils lash out, slicing metals and synth wherever they could touch it. A terrible face emerges from the cloud. It examines you and then turns its attention to the chamber. Let's leave her alone. I'm the one that initiated the consciousness transfer. Take me. The sorrow turns its horrible attention to you. One of its tendrils darts towards you, slicing through both the strong glass wall and the steel floor. It reaches your face and you feel nothing. The tendril goes right through your body. You realize that the dome is fading away. No, your body is fading away as some device tugs it safely away to another location. Thank goodness the failsafe kicked in. You'll be safe, though the girl and I are doomed. I'll be easy to recover, but I'm sure you'll... He's cut off as the sorrow tendrils flay the laboratory all around it in a blind fury. The chest and diamond are cut to ribbons. The chamber disintegrates on a ball of purple flame, and the last you see as your mind fades from this body is the face of a young girl melting and boiling into ash.
I'm ready to learn something new.
I wonder if there was something I could have done to save her. Oh. Did something happen there? I remember now, all of it. I told you I was aware of everything while I was in that chamber. I remember my father abandoning me. I remember, too, how you risked your life for me. After the sorrow destroyed the stasis chamber, I woke up here, in the labyrinth. I wasn't aware, though, not for a long time, not until you came and started changing things. What do you mean I started changing things? You are the Last Castoff, the one my father created to witness this place, to command it. You've been changing the labyrinth since you were first born. You are the one who will decide our fate. So you're not just a memory? No, I am not a memory, nor a reflection, nor a lacuna. I am Mika, the full consciousness of the changing god's daughter. In the mirror, the advisor said we could cure you by merging your consciousness with your father's.
Something new.
Could it be? Yes, the resonance could be used for that, but it would require all of your consciousnesses, not just my father's. No, I cannot ask you to do that. Price is too great, like those my father paid in his attempts to bring me back. Well, I do want to give her a life back, but not to sacrifice everybody else in the process. But I couldn't save you. You tried, which is more than I can say for my father. You risked your own life. Besides, if you had died in there, you and every Castoff would never have existed. Maybe there are some realities you can't change. I understand all that I need to. So what do we do now? There's one more mirror. Enter it, open the resonance, and end this for all of us. Go, there's not much time. Well, before I do that, we're gonna level up real quick. Let's increase stat pools. Well, we are all intellect, so we'll just keep that up. It looks like I'm pretty solidly gold now. Gold tide represents empathy, compassion, and sacrifice. People attuned to this tide consider the needs of those they care about greater than their own consideration. Martyrs, philanthropists, avengers, and guardians are often attuned to this tide. Let's see, Allegorn. Let's buff this guy up. Akina, the furtive Jack who murders. Let's go ahead and increase your... So now we've got... I can handle most intellect, he can handle most might, she can handle most speed. And increase stat pools. Let's improve a skill. What skills do you have? Cipher use? We don't have any ciphers. Let's go with endurance for now. Hopefully we won't have any more fighting to do, but you never know. Okay, here we go. Let's see what else we can learn. The light around this... yeah, put your hand on the surface and will it to open. It is drawn... We are drawn into the door. A world revolves far below you, a sunset in scarlet flaring on the horizon. To the east, deep indigo shadows fall, painting a planet with darkness. The faintest shimmer of a force screen distorts your vision, and the exultation of the station pushes warm, moist air across your skin. With a shock, you realize that the view before you is almost identical to the world you saw as you fell to the earth, only slightly higher. You hold an intricately filigreed metal staff. Its carvings slither under your fingers as if it were alive. You're in a great hall that is more like an organic space than a constructed room. Machinery literally sprouts from the floors and walls, with no sense of where the synthetic metal gives way to the substrata from which it has grown. Though humid, the hall feels clean and fresh, healthy and vibrant, full of promise. A holographic map of the moon hovers at the back wall, near a small glowing pod. A voice speaks as if from the air itself. Are you certain this procedure will give you final control over the castoffs? If you're mistaken, the chamber may fail, or worse, detonate with you inside. The voice is familiar, but you can't quite put your finger on its identity. Where are you? By your side, as usual, watching, monitoring. The resonance chamber is ready in stages. We just need to make sure the body will work as a catalyst. If something happens down there, I'll signal you to move to the next vessel, and if you don't get out in time, well, you've got me. Let's hear it for redundancy. For now, just settle into the pod and we'll make sure this body will work for us. You've pinpointed the source of the voice. It's coming from the staff in your hands. You peer at it more closely and you see a glowing ghostly image, the holographic advisor from the other mirror. No, this advisor looks different, augmented. It has the ghostly blue-limbed, smoky appearance of the specter. It is the specter. I'm trying to remember how the staff works. You study the staff, and it feels like coming home. It is a familiar friend, a comforting ally. It is the cornerstone to this moon, a key to every lock. You know that it copies your mind weekly, serving as a fail-safe and a familiar, a consciousness that is your natural ally. When it speaks with the specter's voice, and when it is manifest, it can create a ghostly image of the changing god's original body. Holding it, you feel safe, in control. I don't want any part of this. I've been trying to stop this from happening. Oh, for goodness. An invisible force suddenly whisks you into the pod against your will. The staff in your hand vibrates slightly, and you feel yourself bathed in energies. Remain calm. This is all well within normal parameters. The minor explosion that follows, however, surely is not. Several klaxons blare. Get out! The sorrow is going to destroy you! Your nemesis manifests in the Great Hall. Its form is tenuous, wispy, and it congeals. It gains solidity in fits and starts. The moon's internal defenses are slowing it, but they will not be enough to keep it out. As you watch, the sorrow shrugs itself past another line of defenses, jerking itself toward a more terrible reality. Its focus snaps towards you. It coils and writhes, desperate to wipe you from existence. Get to another body. We can always make a new catalyst. Go. Okay. Study the map to find the way to the escape pods. Try to pull off one of the vibrating platelets. Examine the construct. Let's study the map. It's a multi-level projection. Its orientation and layout is prepared in a way that is naturally pleasing to your eye. You trace the route to a nearby escape cocoon without difficulty. You'll have to remember the layout of the halls, but the map is clear enough that you think you can remember the route. Do we have anything that can stop the sorrow? Stop? No. Slow? Maybe. Look around. I'll try to keep it occupied through the station's defenses as best I can. Let's examine the construct. I am not as good at this. The construct itself is beyond repair, but a quick study reveals that each of the construct's limbs were designed for independent power, so even though most of the construct is quiescent, its spike-powered hand is not. Working quickly, you detach from the construct's frame. It will be a suitable gauntlet. The powers that course through it may serve to delay the sorrow's advance. Okay, let's run down the hallway. No, I'm not that good at either of those things. As you reach the hallway, the sorrow tears into the moon's skin, evaporating the last section of it. The moist air of the moon rushes past you in a shriek as it vents into space. The station's defenses are almost utterly gone at this point. They flicker and play about the sorrow's form, but it is here in all of its majesty, and it means to destroy you. You have no choice but to run. I just chose to run. The hallway branches with countless offshoots piercing the winding passages of the moon. You know that your escape lies down one of these routes. Your study of the map puts you in good stead here. You count down the passages, and every landmark that you expect arrives when you expect it. You race through the halls, and you see a small knot of the wall. It holds a firm green gel that you know contains some sort of memory. You have your defenses, but you're not confident in your ability to deploy them as you sprint for safety. If you fail, stumble, or hesitate, the sorrow will erase you utterly. You might have time enough for one detour or mistake, but no more than that. Let's try to figure out how this green memory gel works. You press your forehead to the gel. It soaks into your skin, leaving behind a dry viridian paste. You are constructing the staff you hold. The specter speaks over your shoulder. This is strange, isn't it? Knowing that I'm watching you make my home, that I'm going to be updated in a week with your experiences, that my consciousness will fill this moon, and thus so will you in an unbroken, indefinite chain. I don't hold any illusions about the sanctity of consciousness, but then you know that already. He laughs aloud. This conversation is turning us into a solipsist. We've been called worse. The memory fades. Keep running. You pound into the bay, the doors shutting behind you. Your breath comes hot in your chest. You double over to catch your breath. Several cocoons are arrayed along the outer wall. You need to activate one, and it will spin its webbing around you. The smart membrane is tough, heat-resistant, and will transfer the entirety of the kinetic force away from you at the moment of impact. You see an injection of some sort, but it's across the bay. You may not have time to reach it. Sorrow tears apart the wall in a fury of light and tidal energy. The flickering energies inside its hood betray no emotion except hunger. It is inexorable. The most you can hope is to slow it down. Use the gauntlet. You slip the gauntlet over your hand and hold it out in a warding gesture. The energy that blasts from it tears the sorrow apart, decohering it, utterly stripping your foe to its component filaments. I honestly didn't think that would work, mutters the specter. Silence reigns in the bay for a moment, and then the sorrow manifests again, threads of acid smoke weaving themselves together. Guess not. Let's climb into the escape pod. You slip into the cocoon, activate the ejection sequence, and trigger it. The membrane embraces you, forcing you to drop the staff, and begins to slide free of the killing ground of the moon. And then your tattoo blazes, as if it's tearing open, an onslaught of the tides, all in blue and silver, a stream of information too fast and too large to process. A mighty blast buffets the cocoon, and you feel one of the sorrow's inky tendrils caress your cheek and burn into your mind, searing away knowledge and memory even as you tumble towards the earth. Amidst unspeakable pain, you feel something new forming within you, but you lose consciousness before you can identify what it is.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Huh. So did I escape and not just come crashing to the ground without... That's funny. I hoped you would open that for me, and here we are, the Spectre says, and his voice is not tied to his body. It pours from the walls around you, from the shifting floor beneath your feet. It's time for some hard truths, child. Before he can finish, the air twists in the room, an explosion of light, and a scarred figure steps out of it. How's this for truth? The resonance is mine. It belongs to me and all the Castoffs. I have worked too hard for it to be otherwise. Stand aside, old man, and let us determine our own destiny. Your destiny? You are part of me. Your destiny was never yours to determine, and the resonance is not yours to claim. Only the latest Castoff can open the door. That body and I are the only ones capable of using the power beyond. You are out of your depth, Marillel, and this no longer concerns you. He ignores her and turns to you. I need you to open the door, and you've done that. The cage I can handle on my own. When I enter the resonance, it will be to return my errant children to my mind where they belong. Lead me to it, and we will have no further quarrel. What say you? I'll die before I let you in there. Please. There's no new need for ultimatums and dire threats. This moment is what we were made for, what you were made for. And tell me, is your plan to deal with the sorrow any better? Do you even have one? At least he acts on others' behalf. He looks at the ghostly form of the changing god's daughter as if noticing her for the first time. His surprise is brief, chill wind whipping across the darkness between you. You? You're a ghost, the one that haunts me. My daughter is dead. Do you hear me? I can't bring her back no matter how hard I try. Is that so? She has nothing more to say, but her brow crinkles just slightly. She's confused as though she doesn't recognize the specter as her father. Is that creature my father? He looks like what I remember, but he doesn't feel... Enough, I don't wish to fight you, Castoff, but neither will you keep me from this. What will it be? Oh, interesting. Let's say the resonance is not yours to claim. The real changing god died when I was born. You're just a backup of his memories. Yeah, let's try it. You speak in simple terms, but you're dense. Even for one of my Castoffs, I am the changing god, and you're standing in my way. Let's see. This is the changing god's daughter. Yes, she doesn't. This is the changing god's daughter, and yet she doesn't recognize you. He flinches and turns to face her. She meets his eyes, blinking once, and shakes her head. You're not her, he says. Then with more force he repeats himself. You're not her. Of course you don't know me. He turns his head from her entirely, staring into the dark. Be honest, don't you have any doubts? Of course I do. Your careless creation has left me, trapped here. I've had to fight for every inch of control. He turns his grim eyes to the darkness above. He shakes his head. You need me in ways the changing god wouldn't. You could not activate the resonance chamber without me, not even this door. You oversimplify. The accident made me a prisoner here, and now, a short time later, I have control here, in the very root of your mind. But there is something new in his eyes now, fear. Enough of this. You're right. At first I convinced myself that I wasn't whole anymore, that something had broken me or been left behind, but it makes sense. I'm not him. I'm close as anyone, but the changing god is dead. He lets his hand fall bit by bit. He begins fading away. You did it. He's gone. You've accomplished something I could never achieve. I suppose I owe you my gratitude. Okay, let's level up again. Let's go ahead and... I don't think we're going to need any more abilities. I could be... let's go with... I would say Persuasion or Amnesis, but it looks like we've got both of those maxed out. So let's... Oh, Persuasion. Just in case we got to persuade somebody else. And... Oh my gosh. Can also level up. Right? Let's, increase edge. I don't even know if he's got edge. He doesn't. Let's do extra effort then. Okay.
All right.
So we got the ghostly woman and the first cast off, and what is this? This is door to the resonance. Well, I think we will have to see what's behind that door next time. I can't even think of how much else we could possibly do. It's possible the Changing God is dead. It's also possible we'll go through this door and the Changing God will be there. We'll still have to deal with him. And we still have to deal with the sorrow, but I don't think there's much left to do. Anyway, so we might be getting very close to the end now. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Thanks.